Hello, and welcome to another episode of the making of Second Chance Heroes by Rocket City Studios. I'm Eli Platt, lead level designer on the project, and before you today I have the second level of the Hobo Colony, the Healing Waters. And this particular level I think is kind of special to me. It's the second oldest set of levels in the game. It is probably the third oldest level in the production of the game, and it's really, I think, the thing that led to me being the lead level designer and having the kind of creative freedom on this project that I was lucky to get. And that's because when they came to me and they wanted this level, they came and they said, well, and by they I mean Josh and Dana, they came and said, well, what we want in this level is we want to do like a brewery, so just build like a castle brewery sort of thing. And I was feeling them out for what they wanted, and they weren't really sure or particular, other than it was a brewery, and so just use lots of barrels and things. And I said, can I sort of go my own direction with it if you're not really sure what you want? And they said, yeah, sure, why not? And I think part of that had to do with it being so early in the project. And so what I decided to do with it, and it was so well received that they sort of, after that point, let me kind of go in my own direction with any level, was I decided to build the brewery instead of in a castle on an archipelago of islands in an ocean of beer. And want this crazy steampunk sort of pipes everywhere, water or beer spouts and fountains and craziness. And they were like, oh man, this level is awesome. And from that point forward, gave me a lot more room to work and sort of do what I wanted every time it was time to build a level. And so here we go. Let me just get the grand view of everything here. There we are. And another fun fact about this level is there's a lot of this level that's like cut off, like up here, where it's just visual space where you can actually see into the next level. Not in this video and not in the next one, but in the Lost levels, I actually still have a very old version of this level. That is, this level was actually built, this and the next level were built as one solid level, and they were intended to only be one level in the game. And there was a point where we decided we wanted to make the levels very short, like 4 to 7 minutes, and so it resulted in us cutting the level in the game before this one out of the game, and then putting in the two halves of this level as two separate levels. And so basically that ended up getting rid of a level that I really liked, and that'll be in the Lost Levels video because we didn't have any space left. We didn't have anywhere else in the Hobo Colony to fit it. And it also resulted in this level being, two different pieces that were actually built together as one. And there are a couple other levels like that you'll see later on too. But I think this is the only one where I have a file of them still together. So here we go, Hobo Colony. Let me give you the bird's eye view here. So you level 2, Healing Waters Brewery. That's the second dungeon, third level of the Hobo Colony. There we go. Alright, so here's your safe room. You start on this platform here, then you head out onto this bridge where you fight a bunch of zombies and flamethrowers, and then you get to this first big island where you've got a choice. You can either go down or up. And now a fun little fact here is this structure here was actually originally a fountain, but they could never get the kind of like foamy beer fountain thing to work where they were satisfied with it, so they took the spout off and it's no longer a fountain, and that's kind of sad, but that's the way it works some of these times. So you come on down here. Originally you fought a karate klutz lady here, a karate klutz zombie here, and then we realized that we didn't have the Death Valley girl anywhere else in the game, and she wasn't a major boss that was intended to be used once. So I scripted this island, and one of the last things I did in the game before final polish was over and major changes were done was put the Death Valley girl in here instead of the karate klutz. Then you come out onto the Hobo Pier, and you can leap back up top. That's all optional, though. You can still just go from here, straight up this ramp, straight into this section here. And you can see we have got all kinds of brewing equipment and pipes and things going on. And but that's like one of the stills. And originally in this level, you were supposed to be, in the previous level, you were collecting still parts. And then in this level, you would be installing them and trying to find all the stills. And then, again, like I said, in the last pair of levels, we couldn't carry data over in between levels like that. And so we did away with that concept, and instead now you're fishing zombie bodies out of the beer in order to restore the healing properties and stop poisoning people. So you come out across this bridge, and then we sort of have this mid-fight with this Zombilly here. He's the boss of the next level, and this is something we wanted to do more often in the game, and I think he's actually the only real boss we ever do it with, where he shows up earlier and you sort of have this like first encounter with him, and that was one of my ideas in this level as well. And I built all these little pedestals, like up here he was supposed to be able to stand on here and throw stuff at you, and you would just dodge it, and then you would come over here and he would stand up on this platform and throw stuff at you and you would dodge it. And so instead of having him do that, they simply plugged him into the level as sort of a middle boss. And then you have this optional section here where you could come down on these mushrooms across these cliffs and just go back and forth down these cliff faces on the mushroom caps along the edge to the bottom here where there was originally a still, and then we took it out and put the zombies. And so another thing like I built, I had the idea for was like these things here, these zombie beer IVs we put in, and those were a lot of fun. You can see they're all over the place, and I think that may be one of the little details that was lost during when you're actually playing the level, is that people don't, you don't sit there, you can't really zoom in this close, but yeah, it's a beer bottle hung on a coat hanger as an IV, and so you got these dead zombies laying around with these medical beer equipment hooked to them, and so yeah, so you can leap back up here after that and head across this bridge. And this area here was actually all built later on so that we would have a safe room, because originally you just pulled a U-turn here and kept going up this hill, and of course it wasn't cut off or anything back then. And yeah, so the safe room is here, and that's the end of the level. Now that it's been cut apart. And so let me just give you, there's a lot of elevation changes. I haven't really been showing this. I showed it in the first level. I didn't show it last level. But the last level I think you could really see with that cliff how big the elevation changes are. But here again you can see all kinds of big elevation changes, really making the level 3D, really giving you, as you're playing the level, this experience of going up and down and climbing all over the place, and just making it more interesting. And just, I remember building this level, just every little camera angle in this level like has something fun in it, and that was one of my favorite things about this level, and what I think makes it one of the best levels in the whole game, is just all the silly craziness, and like using beer casks as like pipe patches and leaks, and there's like bandanas tying things, and just all these interesting angles and whatnot going on. And so yeah, that's pretty much what you got there. Well, that's in the next level, so I'm not going to zoom in on that. Alright, well, look forward to seeing you in future videos.